Listen carefully, because this is the part nobody wants to say out loud. Everyone loves the idea of a safe zone, a clean map, a neat circle, a promise that someone, somewhere, has it all under control. But after a nuclear event, those two words become dangerous comfort food. And comfort, in a world poisoned by fallout, is sometimes deadlier than radiation itself. See, the moment the blast wave fades and the fireball stops rewriting the horizon, there comes this instinctive, desperate need to go somewhere. Humans crave structure, authority, direction. So when someone shouts, "There's a safe zone east of the ridge," people move. Not because it's smart, because it's something. And after a nuclear event, something feels like oxygen. But here's the truth you won't hear in official pamphlets. Most safe zones aren't planned sanctuaries. They're improvised holding areas built by exhausted people who barely have information themselves. The first safe zones are usually created by whoever is still able to stand and yell loudly enough. Fire departments, police, a group of survivors with fluorescent vests they found in a supply closet. None of them have the full picture. They don't know the direction of the fallout plume. They don't know the secondary explosions. They don't know which hospitals have already melted into ash. You walk toward that zone thinking it's the one place danger can't follow you. But danger loves following crowds, and crowds gather in safe zones. Picture this. You finally reach the checkpoint, heart pounding, throat raw from dust, maybe carrying someone who can't walk. You're expecting order, rows of cots, medical tents, filtered masks, maybe a military convoy humming like Salvation. Instead, you get a parking lot with 20 terrified people, one radio that picks up nothing but static, and someone yelling, "We're waiting for instructions." This is the moment the dark truth about safe zones starts to sink in. They're not destinations. They're pauses, temporary corners where chaos hasn't noticed you yet. And because nobody tells you this, you assume staying put is safer than moving. It isn't, at least not always. Fallout doesn't care about your parking lot or your bright orange cones. It drifts with the wind. It slides along the ground. It accumulates on rooftops, leaks into open containers, creeps through any ventilation you forgot to tape. The zone that felt safe at 5 p.m. might be a glowing nightmare by 9 p.m., simply because the wind decided to change its mind. But humans freeze. We cling to the idea that once a place has been labeled safe, it stays that way. That's why after real nuclear emergencies, the first casualties outside the blast radius often come from people who stayed where the sign told them to stay. Now let's talk about resources, because this is where things get ugly fast. The more people arrive, the more supplies vanish. The water jug empties. The first aid kit becomes a pile of used wrappers. The food, if anyone brought any, turns into an argument. You think society collapses from radiation? No, it collapses from scarcity. A safe zone with dwindling supplies becomes a pressure cooker. Whispering, fights, threats disguised as suggestions. You're watching civilization shrink to its smallest, meanest version. And then come the well-meaning but dangerous people. The ones who confidently spread rumors disguised as hope. There's a convoy coming. They're setting up a bigger camp north. Help is on the way. Sometimes they believe it. Sometimes they just need you to believe it so nobody panics. But misinformation is the biggest killer in a nuclear aftermath. Bad intel leads people directly into fallout paths, toward contaminated rivers, even into zones still burning with secondary fires. You'd be shocked how fast false hope can get people hurt. Another truth nobody talks about: every safe zone eventually attracts the types who see opportunity in catastrophe. Scavengers, looters, desperate people who lost everything and decided they're owed something, even if they have to take it from someone already broken. A safe zone feels predictable. Predictable places are easy targets. And you might think military checkpoints are different. They're not immune, either. Soldiers operating without full communication struggle just like everyone else. They might be guarding the wrong area, unaware that the actual danger is creeping up from behind them. They might be waiting for orders from commanders who don't exist anymore. In the early hours, even the most disciplined units make decisions based on incomplete data. Here's a detail almost nobody realizes. The safest locations after a nuclear event are rarely where people gather. They're often the forgotten corners, solid buildings with thick walls, basements with low airflow, places far from crowds and far from panicked guesses. But those aren't labeled as safe zones. They're just places people ignore while chasing the big arrow on the map. So what do? You think, not react. Think. Before entering any safe zone, ask yourself one question. Is this actually safe, or just where everyone ended up? Look at the environment. Is the wind blowing toward you from the direction of the blast? Bad sign. Are people coughing, showing symptoms of acute radiation exposure? Worst sign. Is there anyone actually in charge? Or is leadership just whoever talks the loudest? Are people crowding indoors when the building has open ventilation? Is the group stagnant, waiting for rescue that may never come? You need to be ready to leave a safe zone the moment it becomes unsafe. Most people won't. They'll cling to the label. They'll sit in a contaminated gymnasium because some stranger told them hours ago it was checked and cleared. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Survival favors the flexible, not the obedient. If you have to move, move with a plan, short bursts between shielded locations, not long exposed stretches. Avoid open fields where fallout settles. Follow topography. Radiation collects in low places like ditches and drains, so higher ground is often cleaner. Keep your mouth covered. Check your water sources. Pay attention to wind. Trust patterns more than promises. Because in a nuclear aftermath, a safe zone is not a sanctuary, it's a snapshot. Safe for now. Safe until conditions change. Safe until the fallout arrives. Safe until the wrong person shows up. Safe until the illusion cracks. If you take anything from this, take this reality. The map won't save you. The label won't save you. The crowd won't save you. Understanding the constantly shifting danger that might. A true safe zone isn't a place. It's awareness, adaptation, movement, and the ability to walk away from comfort before comfort kills you. So next time someone tells you there's a safe zone ahead, don't rush. Don't panic. Don't blindly trust. Ask yourself the question survivors always ask. Safe for who? Safe from what? And safe for how long? Because the dark truth behind safe zones is simple. They're only as safe as the moment you arrive. Everything after that is up to you.